Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Sarcasm Speaks. Jared and Bob here with you tonight. Ian could not make it. I did reach out to him. He said he has family in town this week, um, but he said maybe next week. So I said, all right, keep me posted.
Out
Um,
according to his podcast too.
what'd you say?
It does check out according to his podcast. He said he'll only be releasing the one episode because he has family in town.
Oh, all right. I don't think I got to his episode this week. Um, though I haven't finished it. I caught the beginning of it when he went through like the existential
That
uh
was so good.
yeah. He starts talking about like, oh, I've studied philosophy and things like that and all this, and I've never once had an existential crisis like I've had with the Kansas City Chiefs this year. He is a pretty good ranter. I will give him that. Um so
Yeah, I mean, he
out
has some of the more epic rants of the last, I don't know, 5 years.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Um, so that aside, well, we're already on it, so I might as well talk about sports betting. Um, I was going to talk about I- Italian stuff, but that can wait. Um, that'll be next. The so I think I'm going crazy. Um, because I said this to you like a few minutes ago. I thought that one of the times I logged into the DraftKings app over the last couple weeks, I got a notification about um, DraftKings was partnering with the Massachusetts Lottery to create virtual scratch tickets. Um, but I can't find anything on it. So I don't know if that was just a dream or if I made it up or what the fuck is going on. But I literally cannot find a single thing about DraftKings and the Mass Lottery producing scratch tickets. Like that's not just something that I would just create out of nowhere.
Well, you might have. So I have a telegram.com. I don't even know what this is. USA Today Network, New England, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. From October 3rd.
Yeah.
That digital scratch tickets have arrived in Massachusetts. Here's how you can play. Um, Lotto.com is going to be the platform
Okay.
that will allow for such games to be played. Yeah. Wait, you said, yeah, okay, so digital, no, okay, hold on. Digital scratch tickets, because that's not like Powerball, whatever. Yeah, I guess you can do Powerball online too.
Really?
Um, yeah, so yeah, you can play official lottery. This is lotto.com again. Powerball, Mega Millions, and an array of digital scratch tickets, which let's not beat around the bush here. The digital scratch tickets are just fucking virtual gambling.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
That's
Uh,
all it is. It's just a casino game, but not really.
so I found it. I'm not going crazy, or at least not for this reason. Um, so I found it on Twitter, of all places. Shout out to Twitter. Um, so there's an ad. You can't see my phone, but it says Massachusetts in DraftKings, right? It's a screenshot someone posted. Massachusetts, get $5 off your first scratcher. Use code 5MASS to scratch from your phone. And it's Jackpocket, which is now part of DraftKings. So DraftKings purchased a company called Jackpocket, which does virtual scratch tickets. Um, So play your favorite lottery games straight from your phone, including scratchers, now live in Massachusetts. Head to the Jackpocket app to create your account. Use the promo code 5MASS at checkout to get $5 off your first scratcher free. So I wasn't losing my mind. This was an ad that I saw one of the times that I opened the DraftKings app. And this is just one of those things where you basically already said it. It's virtual gambling, right? It's not, I don't know. To me, it seems like one of the dumbest things ever, right? Like with physical scratch tickets. I know you and I joke all the time. We worked at the convenience desk at Stop and Shop, and I was at the liquor store. We have similar stories of people coming in. Oh, what's the number on that? Well, no, that number's too high. Or, oh, you got to get the crossword ones because no one wants them, and that's where all the winners are. And like all of this insane shit that people would come up with to justify their gambling addiction. At least with physical scratch tickets, you can come up with that. If it's a virtual scratch ticket, you might as well just fucking light the $5 on fire, right? Like there's no, oh, what's the number on that virtual ticket, right? Like what's the oh, what one's this, or which book has the most left, or which book is almost empty, and oh, what's going on with this one? What's that one? Like, there's none of that. It's just a virtual scratch ticket. It's literally like it's like a virtual slot machine, right? Or like a virtual poker game on Twin River, right? Or Plain Ridge. Like there's nothing tangible to it, which to me just seems like a complete waste of money and time.
So my take on the matter is offer it. Sure. Because if I'm going to want sports betting and if I could care less about online casinos, I can't, in fairness, can't care about this either. So, yeah, I'm fine. Offer it. Go nuts. I would not recommend that anybody partake in it.
Yeah,
Um, the same way that I tell people never do the online casinos in the sports book.
right.
It happens fast. Like you definitely lose money faster. That's 100% true.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not, well, first of all, the odds are stacked against you even with physical scratch tickets and casino tables and sports betting. Like you are not set up to fucking win. That is not how this works.
Yeah,
I don't trust that online options and virtual options provide the same strict set of rules that the casinos have. So like if they say it's six deck blackjack, well, it's 24 aces, it's whatever.
right,
I don't trust that a casino won't just start flipping 21s because you went up.
right,
I I refuse to believe that that is the case because everything's gonna be algorithmic, right?
right. Yeah,
And what's
exactly.
and as good as algorithms are, what's the flaw in them? There's always exceptions.
Yeah,
So your odds are even more stacked against you. So not only do you have a less chance of winning, you also will rip through way more money faster. And then it's like I don't buy for one fucking second that someone's gonna log into lotto.com, they're gonna buy a $2 ticket and they're gonna win 20 grand. But that happens with physical real tickets. I think
right.
lotto.com might look at someone who's like, oh, well, this person spent like 10K. Like, why don't we throw them like 500 bucks?
Yeah,
And then they'll be like, oh, I want a $500 ticket. Give it all back.
yeah,
So that's
yeah.
why
I mean,
I
I
don't care
don't.
about the legalization of it. I don't care about the availability of it. I don't care about the access to it. I just wouldn't recommend that individuals do it.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily as nefarious as that, right? Like I don't think it's a physical person looking at them saying, "Oh, this account has spent 10 grand, so let's give him 500." I think it's algorithmic based. So
Yeah, either
like
way, it's so
it's not I don't think it's like a human making that decision. I think it's for every X dollars spent, the algorithm will provide 20% of that back to you within X amount of time. And then randomly, there's a separate algorithm that picks jackpot winners, right?
I think
Like
though
that,
ultimately, yes, and I would agree that you're more correct than I am, but ultimately there is someone still watching this stuff.
right.
Again, not as much as it used to be, but um yeah, so moral of my point is I just don't think that it's a necessarily like if you what did a $5 ticket used to be like 1 in 4? Like the probability of winning anything was one in
Um,
four.
I don't think it was that high. Might have been 1 in 12.
I don't think it was that low. Because then out of 200, because then remember, winning anything is $5 wins too.
Right.
Was it? Because that wouldn't yield many winners at all in a 300. What are they? 300? Was that what $5 books were?
It was
$1,500?
250,
Was it
I
two?
think.
So that would be. I don't know, I feel like it was
1250.
300.
Yeah, it could be 300. I used to know all this. Like I used to know the count by denomination. Like there's 300 in fives and there was maybe 500 in ones and twos, but then there was only like 200 in tens.
I was gonna say, I think 10, I want to say tens and 20s because I used to have to count it. I think tens and 20s used to be 100 ticket books. I want to say the others were all 300 ticket books. Um, Come on, someone just give me anything. Even if it's not right, just someone give me something. One in something.
Yeah, it'll be on the it should be on the Mass Lottery website. I
That's
think
true. I
I
didn't
think
want to
they
have to.
list it.
Yeah, because you got to go into the actual books.
Yeah.
This is a whole thing. I used to be on this. I used to be on this website all the time. It's so bad.
I think they also listed on the back of the scratch ticket
It was. That's how I knew that like this existed.
the odds of winning.
$5 Monopoly doubler. Okay, so your odds of hitting for $5 is 1 in 10, but when you combine that with all the other prizes, your odds of winning anything are 1 in 4.15. Does that make
Right.
sense to you?
Yeah. So every
So yeah,
four and a
so
half tickets you win
yeah,
something.
foreign change. And that's again, that's something, but I don't think these online things, I don't think they have the same odds. They might publish the same odds. There's no way it's going to end up being the same odds. I
Right.
just, I will not believe that it'll be such a down the line, down the draw equal like that. I'm just not, I won't do it
Right.
because there's no finite, like, cause, and that's the biggest thing for me is like, so if the odds of hitting any prize are 1 in 4.15, that means if they produce 100,000 of that ticket, because one in what's the fuck
You say
uh
4.45?
4.15.
4.15. Oh, that's annoying. Yeah, so 1 in 4. Just call it 1 in 4.
So then,
So
oh
I
no,
looked
because
it
if
up
if it's a
too.
100,000 so if you have a million of those tickets, divide it by 4.15, right? Or divide it
Yeah.
by
That's going to give you how many winners there are.
Yeah, okay. So if they make 1 million tickets, that
Yep.
means there's a finite number of winners. It's 240,963 winners.
Right. And then from there, it's the denomination of those wins that,
And then they break it up that way. Because again,
yeah,
it's if they're going to publish that it's a 1 in 4.15, like it has to be backed by the math or else someone would fucking sue them.
right.
Um, and then, but how many of each prize and how many denominations and how many go into each book, all that's up for grabs.
Right.
But you're going to tell me that a game that doesn't have a finite production can still say, yeah, you have a 1 in 4.15 chance. I'm like, there's no way. Because everyone knows themselves or somebody who has bought 20. I know a woman who bought 30 tickets in a row,
Yeah.
bought 30 in a row for me. They were $20 tickets. And I remember this specifically because I knew she had to have won something because she just kept buying them. And she didn't bring one ticket back to me.
So they have
So
variable odds too.
go on.
So a couple things here. I'll backtrack a little bit. I found a shout out to ChatGPT, by the way, because they got me all this information in seconds. Um, so I got the number of tickets in a book by denomination. So $1 tickets has 300 in a book. Twos and fives are 150.
Oh, really?
Tens and twenties are 100, and then 30s and 50s are 50 in a book.
Yeah, those are after my time.
Yeah.
So
Um,
it was only 750 to buy a book of them? Yeah.
yeah. So then I asked ChatGPT, what are the odds of winning by denomination? And for a $1 ticket, the odds range, right? So there's a range of outcomes depending on the book, between 1 in 4.5 to 1 in 5. And
Okay.
then
Is
$2,
this in Massachusetts or is this just in
it's
general?
just it's
Just in
just
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, yeah. For $2 tickets, odds range between 1 in 4 to 1 in 4.5. $5 is between 1 in 3.5 to 1 in 4. So it jumps by about a half a percentage point each one. So a $10 ticket is a range from 1 in 3 to 1 in 3.5. And then $20 tickets is just 1 in 3, right? So one of every three tickets is a winner. Um, and then a $30 ticket is 1 in 2.8 to 1 in 3. And then a $50 ticket odds are 1 in 4. So your $50 ticket odds bounce back up to basically the same as the five. So you have a better chance of winning on a $30 ticket than you do a $50 ticket.
A $20 ticket's better than both of them, or did I mishear you?
Uh no, a $30 ticket is slightly better. It's a there the 30 range is from 2.8 to 3, and then
And the other one's
20
just a
is
flat
20
three.
is just a flat 1 in 3.
Mm.
So that's
Yep.
interesting too, that it's a range it depends on the book, which is also smart legally, right? In the case where someone does buy a book, right? And they're like,
Yeah,
oh,
but you can't say it. So that's where they can always save you, though. It's like they might produce 50,000 books.
yeah,
And then it's like, I bought all these tickets and I didn't win one in whatever. And it's like, yeah, that's for the whole game, not for just the book you bought.
right. Yeah, because that was the thing too for a while. Because when I was working at the liquor store, the $20 ticket was new.
Yeah,
Um,
20s were new for us as well.
and because they published the odds of 1 in 3, guys would come into the store and
By
buy
three.
three. And then
Like, oh, I didn't win anything.
they would be fucking pissed when they didn't win. And then they would buy like two more, and then they'd usually hit on one. They're like, "Oh yeah, oh there you go. There's my winner." And it's like, well, yeah, like it gets dangerous, man. It's like being at a slot machine, right? I guess it's the same. It's the same, response, right? The gambling response. Because you would have someone that would come in, spend $60 on three $20 tickets. None of them would win. And then they would stand there and be like, the next one's a winner. And they would buy the next one and it would lose. And they would be like, well, now I know the next one's a winner, so I have to get that one. And then they
Lose.
would buy that one and they'd probably win, right? They might win $40, right? So they just spent 80. They wanted to spend 60. They spent 80 and they won 40 for a net loss 40,
Yep.
right? And then like maybe they buy three more and they do the process again. And it's like you went in expecting to pay $60. You dropped 140 and you won 80, right? So that's still a net loss of 60. So it's like it's I mean, I know you watched it too, right? Like it's dangerous when people like get sucked into that thought process and that gambler addict mindset.
Yep. I
So,
mean, dude, it's like those things are. Everyone wants to talk about like like you'll see it occasionally, like oh, sports betting so bad. I'm
yeah.
so glad we legalized that. And like this lottery has been crushing it since I saw this in the article, 1972.
Yeah.
Best lottery in the country's in Massachusetts. It did, I don't know, billion and a half last year, something like that.
Yeah. That's insane. Well, it's the most powerful lottery in the country, isn't it?
1.15 billion
Yeah.
in net profit.
Which means they brought in way more than that.
Yeah, I mean the total revenue is 6.165 billion
In a year?
in a fiscal year. Yeah.
Wow. That is more than sports betting?
Oh, it's gonna be way more. One state, 6.16 in sales.
Yeah, I mean, what was the handle for Massachusetts in 2023? We wouldn't have information for this year yet. 23 was the first full year we had it, right? Because it went into effect in 22.
Yeah, top of my head, don't know.
Was it 22 or was it 21 when it went into effect?
Oh, definitely not 21. Was it even in 22 or was it the very beginning of 23?
It was
I don't even remember, dude.
I think it was for March Madness of 22. That was the
Okay.
first because there was a million bonus things you could do, and I made a ton of money.
Yeah.
Um, I like didn't make a deposit again until like June of 2023 from all the money that I made through like the first 2 months of those books being open. So yeah, I mean, I can ask. Let's ask ChatGPT. What was
Why
the
not?
sports betting handle in Massachusetts for 2023? Let's see. The total sports betting handle in Massachusetts for 2023 was approximately $4.95 billion. dollars.
Mm. Yeah, so the lottery
That includes both online and retail.
20% higher, the lottery.
Yeah. Yeah, but everyone at the lottery was fucking crying that they couldn't and doing all those sketchy backdoor deals, trying to not make sports betting legal.
That's because they wanted it.
Yeah.
They've had record sales in the last 2 years consecutively. and they were concerned because then they'd be making 11, $12 million, a billion. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's why they were so concerned because they looked at it like, oh, well, maybe we could have 11 or 12 billion a year,
Right.
which they
Right.
never would have got. But
Yeah. That's wild. And now you get
just a
virtual
lot
scratch
of money
tickets.
moving around.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now the mass lottery will only get more now with digital stuff.
Right. Right.
Well, the purists, I would like to think so. There are going to be people with like serious problems that are going to get like absolutely obliterated by this, and that's not a good thing.
No.
The
I
hardcore
mean, that's
people,
the downside to all gambling,
yeah, it
right?
is.
Is
But
that it's
truthfully, it's a downside to everything, right? Like
yeah, that's
there
true.
are real alcoholics in this world. There are real people that take real drugs and sex addiction, gambling. Like dude, like
Yeah.
you can't just not do something because a certain part of the population is gonna be fucked by it.
Right. Right.
Uh, I mean, outside of like cocaine, like I'm not gonna make cocaine legal. I feel like it's
Why
too
not? It would be a good
dangerous.
time.
I feel like it's too dangerous. Uninformed opinion.
I mean, that honestly, that would be one if it was legalized and regulated would probably be way safer. Because the reason why people die from most of it is it's cut with all kinds of like wild shit like bleach and fucking
Yeah, no,
fentanyl.
I definitely see that side, but I mean, this is like the only thing, like you can still OD on it, so it's like how do you even regulate amounts?
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
It's not like weed, right? Like you
no,
the amount of weed that you need
it's
to
not
consume
habit forming. You can't
is
OD on it.
borderline impossible.
It's the cheapest drug there is.
Same thing with I think psilocybin too. Psilocybin, it's borderline impossible to OD.
Couldn't tell you, but seems reasonable.
Yeah.
I think that would be a big piece of some of these drugs being legalized or not being legalized.
Yeah.
I think any drug you can OD on, I just don't see how you can legalize it.
Yeah. Oh, it used to be in cough syrup. Well, there was a lot of stuff in cough syrup. Remember we looked that up one time? That meme. It was like, was it
But back in the
cocaine?
day,
Yeah, the
oh
old
yeah,
cough
that was it was
syrup.
great.
It was like cocaine,
Definitely morphine.
THC, morphine, and like laudanum or something like that.
Yeah, did like I wouldn't be surprised if it had absinthe in it too,
Yeah, yeah.
or whiskey or something like
From like
liquor.
whatever, like 1890. It was
Yeah,
the 1890 cough syrup. It was like,
yeah.
yeah, no, you ain't coughing after that because
You ain't doing a whole lot after
you're
that.
not doing anything after that.
Oh, your cough went away. What'd you do? Smoked pure opium.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna melt into this couch.
My respiration rate is down to like 8 breaths per minute.
Like Hunty Chris always says, is the reason why every depiction you've ever seen of an opium den, everyone's just laying around.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Yeah, so now we can get into food stuff. So I officially to steal from, what the kids are talking today when they're trying to pull all the Taylor Swift stuff and talk about they're in their whatever era, right? Fill in the blank era. I'm in my fucking Ginzo era big time right now.
You
So
haven't even been to Italy once. How's that
I haven't
possible?
even been to Italy yet either, so it's crazy. Um, so what is that? Saturday we
Yeah,
went
Saturday we did our thing.
And then we stopped at Bob's, the Italian food store, like the most incredible, the only one you're ever going to find. You're not going to get one that's better than that, south of Boston. Um, because I've looked. But the
I mean, dude, Hyde Park is close. It's
yeah,
close, but admittedly, well, it's a pros and cons. So the closest you are going to get is going to be Tutto Italiano in Hyde Park.
yeah,
And
so I'm pretty sure um what did I say? What did I say to you what it was called on the other day? There was a spot, Tony's. I'm pretty sure Tony's in Providence is fucking legit. It's probably just
okay,
as good
so
as
this is
Bob's.
the other thing is if you go to Providence and even though my source did not give me what I asked for at all, and we'll just keep that nameless to save the to protect the innocent. I asked about like an Italian deli slash grocery type thing, and I received, and I said for like North Providence, Pawtucket-ish, like
Yeah.
implying, hey, like outskirts. And I got a recommendation for a restaurant on Federal Hill. It's not what I asked for at
Yeah,
all.
right on
But
Atwell's Ave.
um, so I don't doubt that you can find something in Providence. I actually don't doubt that you could potentially find something in Pawtucket too.
Yeah.
Now, you are closer to that area, so it would just require doing it.
Yeah, and it's one of those
How
where
long does it take you to get to Federal Hill, honestly?
I was just gonna say that. So it's one of those if I wanted to go at like depending on when they open, right? If I wanted to go at like 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning, 20 minutes.
Okay, none of
I
those
can get
places are
to
gonna be open
Federal
on a
Hill.
Sunday. None of
Yeah.
what we're talking about will be open on a Sunday. They might be open at 8 a.m. on a Saturday,
Yeah, I mean same thing, right?
maybe.
If I wanted to go on early on a Saturday, same idea, right? But like it's without traffic, I can get to Federal Hill in 20 minutes.
So that's a huge if.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that you could find because we were talking in the car and like just to brief sum it up, like growing up, we were super lucky um that we had bakeries, multiple, we had sub shops, multiple, we had uh fresh pasta shops, we had everything. Like anything
Yeah.
that you could have wanted. Like if you think about like again, been there once, disclaimer, people forget. So it's like in an old school way of like an old city center, and this happened in the US, this happened in Italy, this happens in other countries too. So it's not just like us, but I just happen to know Italy best. Like you had a gelato shop, you had a pastry shop, you had a bread bakery, you had like a pizzeria, you had like a wine shop. Like you had each thing
Right.
for its own thing. Now we didn't quite have that because that's completely impractical in we the 90s and later. Um, but like we would have options at least. Like we had delis, we had bakeries, we had pasta, butchers, like all that stuff.
Like real pizza shops,
And
not fucking town spa.
you could probably still pull that off in Federal Hill. Like I'm sure there's a bakery and it's like they've got mostly desserts, and then I'm sure there's a bakery that's got mostly bread, and then
Yeah.
and they'll mix and match too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And like you'll have a bakery that does mostly bread and mostly like sheet pizza. Like all that stuff's there. Actually, I do know a pizza place that's fucking awesome. I don't know if it's actually Federal Hill. I don't think it is. I think it's just Providence.
Hmm.
It's where we would go. It's Caserta's. We would go there when we fucked off from the Perform Better Summit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it was walking distance to the convention center. So I think that's a little outside Federal
Yeah.
Hill.
Just a little bit.
Um, yeah, like I don't doubt that you can find those things.
Yeah.
It's just, but like even in like those things don't. It's just not like that anymore. Like even in Medford. So it's like for us to find like what we're looking for, it's just difficult.
By the
Because
way,
it's like
Tony's Colonial Food Store in Federal Hill open at 8 a.m. on Sunday.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't think any of those places were open on Sundays.
Yep.
Like nothing like that. Anyway, um, must be a Rhode Island thing. That must have been their concession for not showing up to the Revolutionary War is that we'll be open on Sundays.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like in my never-ending quest, like it even like so around here, around where I am now, like Providence in Hanover is like it's like a compound. So it's like it's not a supermarket. So you're not getting the generic multi-location, whatever. And it's like they've got the seafood. The seafood is a separate vendor from Privetti. So it's like you
Right.
pay fucking rockfish something. I don't know. That might be what it's called. It doesn't matter. But like you
Yeah.
pay them directly. So it's like, oh, can I get shrimp? Yeah, yeah, I just got to check you out. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. And then I like looked at the receipt. No, I saw my bank account and I go, what? Oh, my credit card statement. I go, what the fuck did I buy? And I'm like, I had no, it took me like minutes to figure out. I'm like, oh, that's inside is a separate vendor. Fine.
Right. Right.
So it's like Privetti's will do like, yeah, it's like a separate fish vendor, a separate butcher, like the sandwich shop is separate, the bakery is separate, like all that's like separated, but in one house. So
Right. Right.
um that's like probably the closest to get what I'm looking for, but then it's like each piece isn't as good as like
Right.
again what I'm looking for. So it's like the Hyde Park, they've got the deli, they got the sandwiches, some prepared stuff, but they also sell wine. Like Bob's doesn't sell liquor, so or liquor, wine, beer, wine, nothing. Um, Hyde Park also has a little bit more of like quantity of the grocery stuff, like stuff you might actually buy. Um, and then like they've got cannolis, whatever. Does Bob's in Medford have desserts? I kind of don't even remember.
Yeah. They do.
Okay.
They
Um,
have a case.
yep. So they have, and again, the place in Hyde Park is small, but like Bob's in Hyde Park, the only reason Bob's is better is because they're prepared food. Though they have a butcher and their prepared food is not only more extensive, it is just better. So
Right. Right. So big time Ginzo era, right? Saturday we go to Bob's. We get that. I get my veal parm sub, and got some guanciale, which I will get back to at the end of this. Um, so we go there, and then Saturday we went to go see Mark Normand at the Comedy Connection in Providence. I think he's in technically East Providence. Um,
oh, was it Rumford?
no, that's Pawtucket. Rumford is
I
the
forget.
nice part of Pawtucket.
Yeah, but it might no, it might technically be
It's like across the river from East Providence.
forget now because I just because that's where Wanamoysit and Agawam Hunter
Yeah,
and Rumford. I just forget if they're technically Providence or if
it's
they're technically Pawtucket.
that's Pawtucket.
Because I was gonna say I know you're in Pawtucket and then you just show up and things got
Yeah,
nice all of a sudden, almost
that's
like
Pawtucket. So anyone that lives in Rumford says that because they don't want to tell people that they
you're
live
from
in
Pawtucket.
Pawtucket.
Okay,
But
I
if you
thought
say
I
Rumford, it's like, oh, that's nice. But if you go to like the United States Postal Service, like they don't recognize Rumford. The mailing address is Pawtucket. Um, it would be the equivalent to live like where I grew up in Medford, right? Saying Wellington. Like you didn't send me a piece of mail to Wellington, Massachusetts. You sent it to Medford, right? Wellington was just the area that I grew up in. Same idea, same exact thing. So regardless, right? So Saturday night we go to Mark Normand at the Comedy Connection. He was great, by the way. He's fucking hilarious. Um, and before we went there, we went to this place called Anthony's in Federal Hill. Um, we got a gift card there, I think for our anniversary, from Mary. Shout out to Mary, friend of the show. So we went there, tiny little place, like maximum holds like 30, 40 people, right? Including the bar, right? Like it's not a big place at all. So we go in and it's right at the end. It's literally the last building on Atwells Ave before you go over the bridge to get back to the highway. So it's, I guess, depending on which way you're coming from, it's either the first building or the last building, right? If you're coming from downtown Providence, it's the last. But if you're coming from like 295, it's the first. Um, so we go in there, we get dinner. I got the veal salt and boca, which was absolutely fucking incredible. Um, just unbelievable, right? It was just good. Like there's no other way to describe it other than it was absolutely delicious, right? Like it's quite literally the word salt and boca means jump in your mouth, right? And it jumped all in my mouth and it was gone in seconds. Um, so doubled up on my veal on Saturday between the veal parm sub from Bob's and the veal salt and boca Saturday night. Um, Amy got the veal marsala. That was really good too. I wanted to get dessert, but we were kind of running short on time. It was one of those like you kind of know they make everything as they go because it took forever, right? Like we ordered and it was like, okay, all right, but it's just one of those like, oh, so they're actually fucking cooking the veal in the back and doing whatever they're doing, right? They're not just heating up a frozen fucking cutlet. Um, So we were short on time, so we couldn't get dessert, but they had a limoncello cake that looked really fucking good. Um, I kind of wanted to try one of their dessert drinks. I forget what it was too. But so we bailed on dessert, right? We'll just go back another time. It was that good. I would go back this weekend if I had the opportunity to.
And just so we are clear, because you sent me the picture, when you do go back, can you just do me a favor? Now this is for me, and I'm not gonna say you ordered the wrong thing, but next time you go, can you just organize your day correctly and get the bone-in veal chop?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what caught my eye, but then I'm like, oh fuck, he already ate veal parm today.
Yeah.
Like that's like seriously doubling up.
I know. I know. Yeah, I mean I would definitely do that. That's why I mean I will be going back there at some point. Um, so which is also kind of what I'm getting to, right? Between the Tony's Colonial Food Store and this place. And I, let me finish and then I'll get back to that. So then the guanciale, right, that you graciously provided to me on Saturday, I made it today. I used it to make carbonara, like real carbonara, right? So whatever, like five ingredients, right? It's pasta, guanciale, uh, eggs, Parmesan, and pepper. That's it. Five ingredients. Um, that came out fucking awesome. I was super nervous to make it because I've read a lot about it, and everyone's like, make sure you don't cook it over heat, right? It can't be direct heat, otherwise you're gonna end up with scrambled eggs and pasta. And I was like, ah, shit. All right. So I'm like, you know, I follow the recipe as best I could, right? And also, it's five ingredients, right? There's really no like real recipe, but like more for like the procedure, right? Um, so you basically just cook it with. I know you've made it before. I don't need to explain this to you, but for everyone else,
All right,
you
I'm looking at a
basically,
menu of. I'm not. I'm only like half listening to you anyway. I'm looking up the menu, the map of uh Caserta and where it actually is.
um, you cook it with the pasta water, right? The boiling pasta water. You add it to the dish and you mix it around, and the heat from that, and then the residual heat from the pan and everything is what cooks the eggs. And it turns into like a cream sauce. And holy fucking shit, man, it was incredible. I wanted to be fancy and do like the pasta twirl thing. We don't have a pasta fork, so I cheated and used chopsticks. Didn't come out the way obviously it would have with a pasta fork, um, but it was close enough. That was the picture that I sent you. That was my rendition of a pasta spool using chopsticks. But
Mm.
like I said, it was delicious. It's one of the better things that I've made in a while. And it just again continues on with the Ginzo theme, right? That I'm in my Guinea era. Um, and all that being said, I think, right? So let me preface and say that I'm not a city guy, right? As I've gotten older, I've grown to hate cities more and more. Um, I'm not a fan of Boston. I mean, I'll go, right? I'm not going to stomp my feet and say I'll never go to Boston. I will go, um, for under the right circumstances. I fucking hate Cambridge, right? When I had to commute to Cambridge every day for like fucking 4 months, that was miserable. Um, Part of the reason why I left that job. But getting to Providence isn't that difficult for me. And Federal Hill in itself is actually easier to get to than downtown Providence. Because, like, for me, I can go 295 around or like 146 around and then come into Federal Hill basically from the west side, right? Instead of coming through downtown Providence on the east side, because Federal Hill, for people that don't know like the geography of Providence, Federal Hill is like kind of like centrally west located in Providence. Like downtown Providence is right on the river, which is kind of like on like the east side up against the riverbank. And then the further west you go, you're getting, outside Providence into wherever, it's fucking Smithfield and Johnston, that whole area. But Federal Hill is more like western than downtown Providence. So it's like I said, it's really not that difficult to get to if you go around. Again, you got to go around the city, but in times where it's high traffic, it's worth it, right? So it's an extra, I don't know, fucking extra 7 miles, dude. The state of Rhode Island is tiny, so like even driving around, it's not going to be that much more distance wise. So between all of that, right, between Anthony's on Saturday night, uh, this whole, trying to check out that Tony's food store. I
The thing
think I
is,
might.
Caserta's just off of. I think it
Okay.
might technically be on the line of Federal Hill or not, but it's there.
Yeah.
It's not on that.
Uh,
It's not on that Ave, but
so all that to say, I think I might be becoming a Federal Hill guy.
well, you've been there once.
Well, actually, I've been there a few times. We used to go there in college,
Yep.
but
I mean, I think Caserta is technically outside the Federal Hill limits, so I can say I've never been there. I've also never been to Providence outside of the Perform Better Summit, so like I guess a professional conference. I don't know how you want to call it.
yeah,
Um, so that's really like all I've been there for. Um,
yeah,
Now I don't have a good route to Providence, so it won't be my spot.
yeah.
But I mean,
So I said to Amy the
I'll definitely
last
come meet you
time.
one morning and go to fucking Federal Hill if that's the play.
The last time I was in Federal Hill was with Jamie and what was his buddy's name? Jay. So
Yeah.
Jay he used to live in Federal Hill. And the last time I was there, me and Jamie went out with Jay and like all of Jamie's friends and we slept at Jay's. I think I slept on Jay's couch. Jamie might have slept on the floor next to me at some point. Or he went back to some girl's house or something. I don't know. But it's a little fuzzy. We got fucking obliterated that night.
think that was
Um,
also, was that after Chili Chowder?
no.
It was a different
Well,
time.
it wasn't your it wasn't your famous chili chowder. It
No, the
may have
one
been
that, so
after a chili
it
chowder.
was when we were living in Mansfield,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
because that
yeah.
was the first time Michaela met you guys, and she had
Okay.
bronchitis.
Oh, Jesus.
So yeah, because I was gonna say I think we went to Chili Chowder, then you guys went to Providence.
Yeah, okay. All right, then yeah, that checks out. Yeah. Yeah, so because I know, like I said, I slept on Jay's couch that night. And maybe Jamie slept. So Jamie was there and he slept in his bed. Jay went to some girl's house. I think that's what it was. Me and Jamie stayed at his apartment and he wasn't even there. Um, but yeah, that was the last time I went to Federal Hill. And then before then, it was college, right? Like we used to go out. So I don't know if you remember the kid Alex, my old roommate.
Vaguely, I think.
He was from Swansea, right? So he would go to Providence quite a bit. So we used to go out there a couple times too, even with Brian Baudet. I don't know if you remember him, but um, we used to go to Providence, like me, him, and Derek Grant sometimes. We all actually worked together at Athletic Republic at one point too. Um, but we would go to was it Whiskey on the Water or Whiskey Priest, whatever it was, right in Providence. I think it got shut down or it got, sold and renamed or whatever. But um, yeah, it had been a long time, right? So I never really used to frequent Providence. Like I said, outside of college, the when we would go, and then the last time being with Jamie. So it was like as a bona fide adult, I suppose, right? Like I haven't gone to Providence to explore and enjoy Federal Hill, and I think I really like it, and I think I might become a Federal Hill guy. Not that like I'm gonna be there all the time, but
Well, you have
it's
to go all the
it's
time now.
well, it's
Got to go
it's
once a
not gonna
week.
be yeah, it's not gonna be one of those where I'm vehemently against the city because I think I think it's great and like just again there's gonna be other restaurants there that are fucking incredible too. So I wanna try them all.
Make a list.
Yeah, I'm in
Like
my
it'll
Guinea
be
era.
like Ash Ketchum.
Just go right down every restaurant on Atwell's Ave. So I
I think
think,
I think you'll also be more in. So couple things, couple notes. Uh, One, making limoncello makes you more of a guinea than just going to Federal Hill to do
oh
things.
yeah, that's the other thing too. I made my own limoncello and it's just about ready today. So it was steeping for like a week and a half with the Everclear and the lemon peels, and I filtered it today. I double filtered that shit. I put it through a sieve, right? Like a fine sieve, and then also ran it through a coffee filter. So then I made my own simple syrup and added that in. And then I mixed it up and put it back in the basement fridge to uh, to hang out for like another week or so.
Think the amount of tomato and basil that you grow would also dictate this a little bit more. And there's a handful of other things, but
Yeah, I could
that's
be
what I
one of
mean
those
is like
old Italian guys that sits on Federal Hill, right, in the morning, go
playing
down, sit
checkers.
on the street, playing checkers with my suspenders, complaining about how my basil's not growing this year because there was a late frost. That's gonna be me.
I guess. But I mean, the other thing too is like, so I've actually refined my thoughts. And we went into Boston for her work party, and it was just fucking hellacious to sit in that car. Like,
Yeah,
just fucking awful. And I'm
yeah,
like, you know what? Like, and I've mentioned this before. Now that I'm older, so like bars with covers and busy and sticky. Like that's not in play anymore. So it's like that's
Nope.
I never liked that, but that's out now. Like that's not even an option.
Yeah.
So for me, strictly it is like I would if I could teleport, I'd go
Yeah.
because I've gotten older and like you couldn't get me to go there when I was 22. No fucking way. I'm like all of these places are fucking awful.
Yeah.
You could get me to go now, but it's just like again, like the drive. It's like so we went on Boylston Street and it's like turn on Boylston Street and it's just like no one can fucking move anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good point,
I just
right?
don't want to get there because the other
Yeah.
piece is like not
Because
for
now
nothing like
I appreciate good food and good restaurants. I think part of that too comes with age and a little bit more money, right? When you're a poor 22-year-old college kid, like you go to the bar with the dollar beers and the sticky floors. But
yeah.
like now, like I'll go to a really nice sit down restaurant and get a good steak. I don't give a shit that it's a $70 steak, right?
Well, if
If it's
you
gonna
get
blow my
reservation
fucking
like
dick
if you get
off.
reservations at Capitol Grill, you have to know what that's gonna cost.
Right, right. Like I'm
Like,
more willing to do that now, but like you said, I just don't want to fucking get there. I don't want to travel,
dude, I'm seriously looking into that boat more and more.
which is why I think I've been I've had my eyes opened to Providence
I
and
mean, dude, not for
how
nothing. Like,
easy it is for me to
I just
actually just get in and out of there.
I just GPS Casertas for pizza. So, if you want like Sicilian pizza,
Yeah.
and so we went there one time with with Cunty Chris's younger brother. Again, we'll just protect the innocent here. And he asked our Rhode Island source. They were like, "Oh, what kind of pizza?" He's like, "I don't know. Do we do like barbecue chicken, whatever?" He's like, "No, he ain't getting that here." It's like you can have cheese, pepperoni, mushroom onion, and like maybe something that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head, and like that's it. Like there's like
Yeah.
four to fucking choose from.
Yeah.
Um, and it's dude, it's 18 minutes from your house.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's 9 miles away.
Yeah.
Like actually downtown Providence is like 8 miles for me. It's the equivalent of Medford to Boston, basically,
Yeah.
is where I am to
So
Providence.
that's what I mean, man. Like you're close, so you may as well use it.
Yeah.
And again, I'm happy in Weymouth now. Like I've got options. Now they're not Federal Hill options, but like I've got options around me now. It's like it sucked being in Milton and just like it's like okay, so we got to go to Dedham, and it's like well, Dedham's fine. I actually did like Dedham. I got no
Yeah.
issues with that town, but eventually you run out of shit. And it's like, dude, even as simple as like the other day, I'm like, oh shit, I should probably get new tires before the winter comes. And I go, oh right, tires, Costco, where I went to Legacy because it takes like 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And her and I, we'd take my car, drop the car off, get new tires, go out to dinner, come back, whatever. And I'm like, oh, Legacy Place during fucking Christmas? I, fucking not a chance.
Yeah. No way.
And so as long as like the mechanic in Easton will do it, like, because I'm gonna have to sit there. So it's like, how long, man? Because I can't leave you the car for half a day.
Yeah.
And as long as they can do that, they're my fucking guy. I don't even like I don't even care how much it is to not
Right.
have to go to Legacy Place during Christmas season. Again, teleporter would be nice, but
Yeah, it
here
would
we are.
be.
Fucking kids haven't developed it yet.
You got to get on that shit. Uh,
No, we
all
should
right.
no. So actually, this will be nail in the fucking coffin. If you start making your own fucking salami, then we are fucking talking like real guinea bullshit. Or if you're sitting there like pulling mozzarella,
Yeah.
that's like some serious guinea bullshit.
Yeah. How do you even make your own salami? I mean, I know it's dry. I
So
know it's dry aged, cured, whatever, but like,
so you need a meat grinder,
yeah, it's just
you,
sausage that gets dried out, right?
pretty
Effectively.
much. So you need a climate. You aren't going to do it. I'm telling you this because to do it correctly.
I'll just hang it in my basement,
So that's the thing.
right
I
above the
believe,
dehumidifier.
I believe you need some level of humidity and temperature control.
Yeah, yeah, I have a
And
dehumidifier downstairs.
and the reason why, and this is my thought, I didn't look this up, but the reason why like old school Italians can just like hang that shit in their basement is because the climate
Right,
warrants such a
right.
thing.
Yeah, yeah,
And there's probably times a year where it's like, okay, we make fucking 1,000 pounds of fucking salami in August because August is the month we do it.
right,
And then someone's
right.
like, oh, I think I'm gonna make some sausage. Like, you can't do it. It's February. It's like
Yeah.
you're gonna get worms. Like that would be my assumption. Because then like obviously everything is seasonal, or I'm sorry, everything's like more regional. Like you have Genoa salami, you have
Right.
Calabrian,
Milano.
yeah, you have Milano salami. Like everything's kind of regional, so it's like they probably have their own time frames of doing
Right,
what they do.
right.
So I believe it does. I believe for Massachusetts, it does require a temperature and or environment control.
Yeah, Bill has a sauna. I'll just hang it in Bill's sauna.
Perfect. Because
Yeah,
other than that, I mean, you need a meat grinder in the correct spices
yeah,
and additives or whatever it is,
yeah. I mean, that's it, really.
and then yeah, you tube them up, hang them up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit more involved. I mean, like cheese and butter is easy, effectively. You're just churning milk. That's really it.
Yeah, I would say the mozzarella. I think you heat up the milk.
Yeah,
Start pulling it. I don't know. There's
yeah.
probably a step I'm missing. I'm not making my own mozzarella. Fuck that.
No, no. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm becoming more and more fucking guinea,
We'll see.
which is funny because
Let
I've
me know when
not
you get
even.
past day 135 of
Yeah.
fucking Duolingo, okay?
I was gonna say, like, I wasn't even real, like, I wasn't raised to be like, oh, we're this big Italian, whatever. Like, it's just one of those, like, you know, my grandmother used to just cook everything and make it all herself, and that was just kind of how it was.
Yeah, it's also, I mean, I think I was telling you in the car, like, yeah, I'm a fucking fairly fucking big Ginzo, but the other thing too is like, so if I wanted to like kick around town of Stoughton and like kind of do it that way, like like you'd have to go Brazilian because that's what everything is. So it's like
Right,
you can still get the same type of things we're talking about. You just need to you need to be in the right place or you need to go with the culture that's there. So it's like if we wanted a Brazilian butcher shop, got it. Brazilian
right,
steakhouse, got it.
right,
Uh, Brazilian corner store, it's there. Like just I don't know the Brazilian culture at all, really.
right, right. Yeah. So limoncello will be ready next week.
Let's do it.
Are we doing a Festivus?
I don't know. Probably not. If we don't have it on the schedule, probably not.
Yeah, that's what I
In
was thinking
in all
today. I was
honesty.
like, we haven't talked about it at all.
Nope. And I think I'm doing something with her family the 21st, which is a Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, and then this weekend is fucking obliterated.
It's
Amy
already
has a
here.
Yeah, well, Amy has a concert Friday. We have something Saturday. Oh, her family's Christmas party is Saturday, and then my mother's birthday is Sunday.
So I actually floated this idea to Michaela, and I'll just throw it out there. That way, it might actually come to fruition. I was actually thinking about for next year. You know what? This can be my final thought. Are we on final thoughts?
Yeah, it's final
Okay.
thoughts.
Because the holiday season fucking blows, and that's a personal feeling. I fucking hate it. And it's just like it's too fucking busy. And not for nothing, we all saw each other for Giving. Like 6 weeks later is Christmas.
Right.
Less than that. But like it's just hard to get people into two things. So next year, I am strongly considering Festivus in July, as close to July 23rd as we can.
Okay.
And that would piggyback off of one of my frisbee teammates whose birthday was July 25th. So he would do Christmas in July every year at his house. But thinking we do, I'm floating that idea around. Festivus in July, something under consideration. Because then also like, yeah, 4th of July maybe depends on who works when, what. Like coming to
Yeah.
Weymouth 3rd of July ain't happening. Like it's just not.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like no
That
one's gonna be able to get
area is
down Route 3.
insane.
So
No. Yeah, Weymouth and Quincy on the 3rd of July
well,
is
I
a
mean, it's too close
fucking
to
shit
Marshfield.
show.
Marshfield's the big one. So not
Well,
only
yeah,
is
Quincy
everyone's
does
traveling
does
that way
one too.
anyway. Oh, Quincy does too. I thought
Yeah.
Marshfield was like a mass. Like 3rd of July is just like fucking
It's
massive in Marshfield.
absolutely massive in Quincy. Down in House Neck, they do like a whole thing. It's insane.
Good. Well, shoot me in the face.
Yeah.
Um, so floating that idea. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't hate
It
that
also doesn't need to
idea.
be in Weymouth. It's just
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's nice to be centrally located, right? I mean,
yeah.
it was one of those like it was kind of a bummer. Like I don't really give a shit. Like I'll have everything here. I didn't mind, right? But it was kind of a bummer when like people don't show up here, right? Because obviously North Attleboro is like far. It's far for a lot of people, and I get it, right? Like it's like I don't want to drive into Boston. Someone that lives in Medford or further north probably doesn't want to
Yeah.
drive down here, which makes total sense, right? I'm not gonna bitch and moan about it. Um, but I think Weymouth is nice because it's centrally located. It takes everybody about 45 minutes,
Yep. So
except for Justin and Britt. Probably takes them like an hour and 15. But I mean, they live in fucking Hudson. Like everything is an
so
hour and
everything for
15
them
minutes.
takes an
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, I kind of brought that up randomly because it does suck that we can't do Festivus, and it like I've just succumbed to it's never gonna work. Like
Yeah.
it only worked before when we were, or like Vinny, Nikos, Finn were all single,
Right.
and like Jaimo wasn't with Jacqueline or something, like for the weekend or
Right.
something,
And no one had kids.
and then no one had kids, and Michaela and Amy were hanging out anyway. So
Right. Right. Yeah, because the Christmas season gets way
it's
fucking
crazy,
harder
man.
to
It's
time something
it's
because you
crazy.
have people split their Christmases, right? Like I said, like we
Yes.
have Amy's family Christmas party this Saturday,
Yeah.
right? Like then we have our own Christmas, like on Christmas, right? And it's like, I mean, my family is completely like fucking shotgunned everywhere now. So between way up in New Hampshire and my mom's in southern New Hampshire and I got aunts and uncles and cousins that are moving to Florida, right? So like where my family is just kind of fucking everywhere. Um, between Wilmington and on my dad's side and all that shit. So everyone is super scattered. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it's just wild, right? Because that's what I mean. Like, so we'd have a Christmas party this weekend, right? But then you said Michaela's family
And we
next
get some on the
weekend.
21st, which is a
Right. And
Saturday.
then some people are probably going to do it like the weekend after Christmas because that's
Yeah, we're
what
going to
that's,
Florida, and we're going to Florida the 28th.
yeah. So that's what the mellows, right? We always used to do growing up, like with my grandparents and my dad and his siblings and all that, and cousins and all everything there. We always used to do Christmas on New Year's. Like it would always be the week after. Like whatever the Saturday after Christmas was when the mellow Christmas was. So I know a lot of people do that too.
We could
But then,
celebrate the Epiphany on January 4th.
yeah, I thought it was January 6th. It's Little Christmas.
Well, January 6th is a Monday. We got to fucking
Oh
work
yeah.
around here.
Yeah, that's fucking lame.
But yes, it is the
Yeah.
6th.
So yeah, I don't hate Festivus in July.
It's under consideration. Festivus in July. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Let's see. What is my final thought? Oh, um, we finished The Penguin a while ago at this point. I think last week or the week before, whenever the series ended. Did you guys watch that at all?
Did not.
Um, Pretty good. Surprisingly very good series. Colin Farrell is unbelievable as the Penguin. Um, Obviously, like everything that was in the news about, or in the media, I should say, is like, oh, the makeup, and he spent like, 4 hours in makeup every day, and it like fucked with him mentally and all this stuff, whatever, yada yada. All right, yeah, cool. Like you're an actor, dude. Like it's part of it, right? You didn't want to do CGI, so you got to sit through 4 hours of makeup every day so they can make you look like the Penguin. Um, but he did great. Um, Sophia Falcone is. Did you ever watch How I Met Your Mother?
I did not.
Oh, I was gonna say she is the mother. She's the wife in How I Met Your Mother. But she was unbelievable in this series. Like she played a great character. Um, there's a lot of really cool stuff, really dark, right? Obviously, I mean it's that new Batman style. Um, and there is a twist at the very end of it that is kind of like a fuck you, and it makes you a little bit angry until you realize like, oh yeah, he's a villain, right? Like he's one of Batman's arch nemesis. Um, because throughout the whole series, like, they sort of humanize him in a way, right? You root for him, you get invested in the character. You're like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And then right at the very end, like I said, there's that twist. And you're like, what the fuck? Fuck, like Jesus Christ. And then you're like, oh yeah, he's the Penguin. Like he's a villain.
I mean, that's kind of the rough outline that the Joker took too.
Yeah, yeah. So pretty good series. It's on Max, right? HBO Max. Um, so I don't know if you have it or not, but it's worth it, right? I think it's only 8 episodes. Um, and it's done. It's out. It's either 8 or 10. So it finished a few weeks ago, like I said, when we finished it, but um, it's worth it.
We'll see. I mean, I don't. If she got into it, she'd probably like it. I don't know if she's gonna get into it, so maybe I'll have to take that one alone.
Yeah, it's not a dark. It's not that it's not dark. It's not a heavy Batman thing. Like
Yeah.
the character Batman
That's why I
isn't
think if
in
she
it at all.
that's why I think like if she got into it,
Yeah.
she'd probably like it, but dude,
Like
it's
you
the same thing.
can
Like
you
she
can watch it
watched
and know nothing about Batman and still enjoy it.
dude, it's just like it's a TV thing. I don't know, like um she watched something with like the Irish, the all the shit that happened like with the IRA
Like the
and
IRA car
fucking
bombs and shit.
yeah, but I think like after like the crazy like I think after like the real war, I don't know, whatever. But this is the thing. I'm sure it was very good. It was on while I was there, and I just found myself like fucking off not paying attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's like what I mean is like And then all it takes is because I was watching Agatha too, and then all it took for me was I fell asleep once, and that was it. And
Yeah.
then I couldn't get back into it, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
So I suck at watching TV now. Absolutely suck at it.
Yeah. Agatha was pretty good.
It was. And then, but that was the thing. It fucked me because I fell asleep. So I
Yeah.
was like reading back to like what I missed. Then I read too much and I go, all right, well, fuck it. I'll just read the rest of this episode. And I'm like, wait a minute. I thought I remembered seeing that. So then I'm like trying to figure out where I fell asleep. And I'm like, oh, fuck it. This is just too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Suck at watching TV.
Suck at a lot of things.
Suck at most things. Can't even watch TV right.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. So thanks for watching. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit subscribe up above, hit the thumbs up down below. Subscribe if you're an audio only guy. You can leave us a review on Spotify and Apple. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. Twitter is sarcasm_speaks. Facebook is Sarcasm Speaks. The website is sarcasmspeaks.com. Check out the show notes below. Support the sponsors, support us. And until next time, good night, everybody.